LCK as permanent top laners this season are really taken off. Wow, that was a drawing.
That was actually pretty cool. All right. So, ban and pick. GenG and Damonkia.
GenG taking blue side this time. Very unusual for this series so far. They'll take away the Karma. They are not going to get dominated in the 2v2. I think one of the least appreciated parts of that game, I think, in terms of how we talked about how it ended, because it gave Duckdom such a lead. Kellen set it up for him. That's part of why my vote went to Duckdom in the end, is because he, with this pick, dominated lane and then just was Ezreal later on and did great jobs in team fights. So, she thinks Kellen should have gotten POG as well, but let's keep the streak going, the sign says, as Hecarim will remain banned on red side here. Never going to be a consideration.
And apparently I was already given the stat, and so I need to say a very, very, very big sorry to G-Sun for not remembering the stat, but it was apparently 2015 summer, Sunday got 1,400. I believe there were MVP votes back then.
Yes.
Sorry, MVP points. And Smeb tied that in 2016.
We changed it to player of the game after the Ujin production.
Yep.
Damonkia now with a lot of opportunities here with this Twisted Fate ban, something that is often in the red side slot. They'll take away the Rise, so just no main global mid laners here to come through. And the Jinx, I think, something to be looked at here. Karma is banned already, so you don't have any Karma lane to push into the Jinx, and with the Hecarim gone, it's definitely a big potential problem. GenG could pick that one up first, so I think Damonkia will definitely take that one away. The Caitlyn to match.
Caitlyn will be the ban here. So final ban, Zeri still available. Kind of standing out like a sore thumb right now.
Hey, this is kind of a frustrating position to be in for Damonkia, because
I think you ban the Zeri, expect a Jinx, and then pick accordingly?
Yeah, but you don't have some of the strongest picks you could pick into the Jinx here. If Elio's not what you want, you've lost the Karma, you've lost the Caitlyn, and they'll make it a trade.
This is a gauntlet throw, though, as the Zeri being available, and its ruler, right? We've already seen his Zeri was pretty powerful. As Doran, you can see, is still grinning.
It'd be so interesting here if they actually just pick Jinx and go, yeah, good luck. Like, but then Damonkia get the Nautilus. You could like go one level deeper and first pick Nautilus here. They'll first pick Jace as Doran is grinning, and there are no counter matchups for this one in the LCK. Wink, wink. We always have to say this, but we got it out of the way early this time. As now, you know, you have a bit of a range problem into the Jace if you pick the Zeri early.
Yeah, that's true. So Jace is a pretty decent answer into the Zeri, kind of like that idea. Showmaker thinking about the Ahri this time around. And if you lock in like Ahri Zeri, you're pretty happy. But maybe they're going to leave
Nautilus.
that. And
Nautilus. Because now you have a great support in basically every situation. Now they are really reluctant to pick the Zeri here as GenG. We'll see the Vex picked early, so that cannot be denied in second ban phase. Yeah. Might just be the Vex Jinx here.
Yeah, Vex Jinx could come out.
I think that's you're really going to be pushed out of all the 80 carries if you don't pick her here now, and you can't pick the Zeri comfortably, especially with an Ahri on the other side too, on top of it all.
Yeah, there's a little bit of danger to have a shorter range 80 carry here, but Damonkia don't necessarily demonstrate a lot of range themselves, and you do have the Jace to be that artillery from the backline. So GenG definitely feels like a difficult position to choose one of them, but it will be Viego, so they will forego the bot lane pick for now and just give Peanut a bit of power in that jungle.
There's a lot of pressure on Ophelia with the Vex pick here if they do play the Zeri. You know, locking down the Zeri is going to be basically your job. You know, in terms of the CC here, Viego shouldn't be able to get close. Vex is going to have to hit these spheres. They will pivot, though.
Okay, so the Jinx will come through for Damwon to try and answer some of the range. Duckdom's Jinx has been fantastic.
And now you can
tick all the way down.
Yeah, well, let's wait until it locks in. There it is. Now you can deny 80 carry picks from Ruler.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortably, which is why I was saying, you know, maybe he should have picked the Jinx here in that slot so that they wouldn't find themselves in this position.
Yeah, I don't know whether the Viego would have necessarily been a priority ban either, so Very interesting, but probably just wanting to counterpick bottom lane with whatever Damwon wanted to lock in. And as you can see, it is the Nautilus Jinx in the end.
I wonder if there's the Kai'Sa, so this has been one of the problems. That was the first thing I was going to say, but I also wonder if something like a Ziggs would be considered here for Ruler. Not a champion he likes to play, but he has played it once this season, and it is something GenG have been practicing a lot because Ophelia was playing the bottom lane. So something that you could play into the Jinx, get a little bit of control, get a lead. You have a lot of poke with the Ziggs, you have a lot of poke with the Jace.
Yeah.
Wouldn't hate it. I feel like that's one of the options that screams at us right now with the Kai'Sa banned away.
I wonder whether it's like
I mean, obviously Jhin is another option here, but it's really tough to play with the comp they have with the Jace.
I wonder whether it's like a Xayah Rakan angle that they're looking at, but then you don't have very much range, right? Like, it is really hard because they want to try and get some engage on Lehends, I would assume. Leona is going to be banned to try and deny a bit of that. And so now the Rakan stock goes up even further.
Yeah.
I would like to see something like an Ezreal Yuumi, right?
Yeah, that also
from
works.
GenG to empower Peanut ever further.
I like that. I had kind of forgotten about Yuumi in this scenario. I don't think we'll see Zeri into Jinx and not into the Ahri and Nautilus. It's just impossible, as this is an obvious Jarvan ban, regardless of what you're going to pick in that 80 carry spot. All the ones we're talking about here are going to be fairly vulnerable to this.
Yep.
You don't want that Jinx to get ahead early from some rapid-fire ganks that we'll be seeing. Let's see what comes here on the top side of the map. Yeah, I was going to say, it's not going to be a Malphite, it's going to be a tank. It's going to be a tank of any kind. It could be the Ornn as well. But with the Ahri here, I think the Sion makes a lot more sense. You can link the CCs together, and you're not looking to get tons of value out of the ornaments later on with an Ahri. She's not going to get as much power out of it as a DPS mage would.
Well, Sion, very, very teamfight orientated here for Damwon Kia. Was picked in a different draft last time around, but certainly this looks pretty good. And this is kind of what I was expecting, the Xayah Rakan angle.
I think it's so weak into this comp, though. Like, she has to build crit into this Sion, or good luck. Or you have to win super early. Excuse me, notice that win rate.
Yeah.
Not looking so great. By the way, Birdle is the Sion player of the LCKs. 2-0 on it. This is the third time Damwon Kia are running a draft like this. And this comp is so fragile.
Okay, so Renata Glask will be locked in yet again, second time today. And we'll see whether she continues winning. She did win the first game, although it was an odd draft from DRX that they made work. Now, Damwon Kia, what are you going to do in response?
Literally perfect pick. Like, no joke. It was the first thing that came to mind because you need magic damage, I think, to shore up the tankiness. The Sion's not going to bring any damage into these fights. Now you got poke, you got follow-up pick, right? When Ahri hits a charm, Nidalee hits a spear, then you have a Jinx, zap and a rocket. Somebody's dead, Jinx is excited. Sion is going to absorb so much of Jace's damage. And if you try to engage a Xayah here, you're so low range. You're putting yourself at risk of getting charmed, you're putting yourself at risk of getting charged into by Sion, excuse me, Nautilus. Like, I think this is a huge draft gap. Personally, I think Damwon Kia win this one, they crush it. So much pressure again on Ophelia on this Vex. He's the best opportunity you're going to have to actually get somebody feared, lock down this backline, and play this one well. If the Shock Blast hit, if you can avoid hitting the Sion every time, if you can actually make that work, if you can get a lead on the Jace, there are ways to make this happen, but Damwon Kia have already shown comfort with this exact style of drafting, too. Seems like GenG tried to make this one more complicated than it really needed to be, and when the Jinx got taken away from them, they ran out of options very quickly.
Yeah. The Xayah is where I'm a bit perplexed, but it has been a pick that has found some success here in the LCK, but Ruler will have to make up for the lower range with, some better play around this map. Renata Glask as well is a very interesting champion. We'll see how many handshakes are actually going to come through, whether we're going to be booping people in the head and things like that. It's like Zac, but requires a little bit better aim. I do very much like that ability. But GenG, this is the creative draft, and Damwon Kia back to a keep it simple, stupid style of composition. And you might be looking at Nidalee and you're like, oh, isn't that champion that Owner always hovers when he's trolling? No. This is a champion that Canyon has a world skin on. So he's pretty good at this particular champion. As you can
Notice
see
the
right
blue
there.
hair. Notice the blue hair, yep. There you go.
Glowing hair, looking absolutely fantastic.
Any champion on GenG's roster that gets hit by a charm, with the exception of Viego, I suppose, if he gets ahead and is really fed, will die basically instantly to the follow-up damage that Damwon Kia have. You know, again, assuming that nobody's far behind. So that's my biggest fear for GenG. The term I use a lot for a comp like this is it's fragile, right? It is very easy to pick. And in front-to-back team fights, too, Damwon Kia have so much peel and spades.
Yeah.
I think we'll see the Night Harvester build for Canyon this game. He'll pick up a Dark Seal early on, too, and has so much power. I am very worried for GenG with this draft because I think it has some anti-synergies, right? You have a lot of poke with the Vex and Jace, and then you can follow up with Viego. But to get into range to actually all in as the Ophelia or as the Viego, you're putting yourself at range of Kellen. You're putting yourself at range of Showmaker, Birdall, etc. That's why this Scion pick is so beautiful here.
Yeah, I feel like Damwon do have a lot of tools at their disposal as Showmaker and Ophelia just trading electrocution here in this mid lane, which is technically untrue. It's trading electric shock because electrocute is to die by electricity. And as you can see, they're being electrocuted technically and not dying, so therefore it's not actually a thing.
Yeah, I never really
it's
thought
irked
about
me
that
a little
way.
bit.
Yeah, that's
irked me a
true.
little
That's
bit.
actually true. I never really thought about it that way.
We should actually propose a name change to Electric Shock.
Yeah, or just shock in general.
Yeah, as Ophelia is trying to get an electrocute. Doing a fair bit of damage there, as Orb of Deception is going to go wide.
The other weird part about it is neither of these champions are using electricity at any time. You know, it's kind of arcane, magic-y stuff going around here.
Yeah. But
Nope.
maybe when you actually get the proc, it is actually electricity. So it's like a bunch of magic, and then it's a bit different. As okay, we are going to find a hook there as the boot back. And Kellen's just going to be moved, but it is still a decent trade.
Yep, definitely true. You know, it's not a Karma lane down there on the bottom side into this Jinx, but it is a lot of power because Renata Glass is ranged and her passive is going to allow you to do more damage as the Xayah in this case. The more she stacks up, the more you get to push and harass those enemy champions. A lot of extra prio here for Ruler. Going to get a deep ward down, make sure there's no early gank. And we'll also be able to see when Canyon finishes his side of the jungle when he wants to come down. And we might even see a double scuttle attempt here from Peanut with that extra information.
Yeah, another Fear connects.
Wow.
Ophelia's laning very, very well.
I mean,
we've seen it work very well into the Ahri in the past, but he's really feeling it.
he really is. Like, Ophelia has quietly been, I think, our best emergency call-up, like, across the LCK, with the exception of the Challengers players on DRX.
Yeah, apart from DRX, yeah.
Like,
if
he
you
has
subtract, like, Peach, Clear, and Satab, then I'd agree, yeah.
He just has not choked. He has not made huge errors. He's done his job correctly in every game he's played, and he clearly has no nerves problems. Like, pick this guy up for LCK, somebody. Or maybe GenG just want to hold on to him for situations like this. As Canyon will rotate up.
Yeah, he is going to be spotted on that ward. Doran does get the early vision and therefore is able to make his way out. No red buff or anything like that for Canyon to try and set up for any spears. Yeah, Birdall just hanging out here. Does manage to get the Roar of the Slayer through Doran. Such metal names for a lot of Scion's abilities, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mordekai's jealous.
It's pretty death metal.
Yeah. Ophelia does get charmed, but he's all right for the moment. Currently with a slight CS advantage. Orb Deception avoided. Does have that fear charged up. So the Vex pretty happy right now.
Yeah, very happy. As you're not going to pay a visit up here. Canyon's still in the vicinity. And it is a Scion on the top side of the map with Flash available.
Yeah, Peanut comes in. Nice avoidance there of the stun for Birdall. And he's going to walk it out. Peanut not going to be able to find the kill there after not being able to connect that one.
That was just so well handled by Birdall.
Yeah.
Showmaker going to get sped up from the Foxfire here, and we'll be able to avoid that follow-up damage. So everybody's just dodging everything. Everybody's playing at their peak level here. This is the kind of series we were looking for.
You can see Lehen's just walked in. He's like, no, don't go for a trade. I'm just getting some vision down, you know, just having a walk. As Ruler's going to move back. And
everybody dodges.
It's just the sidesteps. Sidesteps seem to be the most powerful thing in League of Legends right now. As Ruler gets a nice bit of damage through here. He's gone for the Ahri build as well, so it's not looking like crit is going to be coming in for this particular Xayah either.
It's going to be so hard to break through that Scion. But I suppose if you can get past the Scion, or if you can avoid the initiation that Birdall puts in and get on top of the carries, like maybe it's still the correct move, but eventually you will want to front to back in the late game, and you're going to have such a hard time doing so.
Great vision here for GenG, spotting out the fact that Canyon did pay a visit towards the bottom side. But Damwon probably happy to play the long game this time around. They're the ones with the straight-up front-to-back style of composition. It's very happy to get the Sion extremely tanky.
Yeah, I mean, with
fights when they want to.
With two lethality champions on the other side, like as Sion, you are extremely high value just by existing. You're like, wow, they will never kill me ever.
Well, Lehen's moving forward here. They do manage to get the slow down. There's the pullback, and Doctom has to flash. Ruler immediately flashes after him, and that is going to be first blood going over to GenG. Now Doran trying to get some side steps in as well. Decent shock blast as Bertle lumbering down, trying to chase the Jace, and that spear is going to connect. Doran has to flash to get himself out of the way, and a spear is going to come through as well. It's a great shadow surge, but immediately Canyon is going to flash, get himself out of the way. Showmaker dashing forward, finds the charm as well, and Ophelia is trying to run this one out. That is going to be the double kill, and the Ahri gets her revenge.
That entire exchange was just so high level on both sides, but it's Showmaker who just goes forward here to grab the kill at the end. Punishment here at the highest level from Damwon Kia, knowing the play bottom side was happening. They had free reign of the top side, and Canyon, even though the first spear didn't connect, he trusted in Bertle. They pull it off. Super well coordinated here. Showmaker hitting the charm at almost max range, predicting where Ophelia would try to dodge as he has to rotate back into lane between, you know, an angry Nidalee and a very aggressive Ahri there. He goes down, and that's going to be 2 kills going over to Showmaker in this early game.
Yeah, and it's actually really sad, right? Because we saw Ophelia who was laning in the early game really well. And now he's up against a double kill Ahri. So let's have a look at this. Lehen's finds the handshakes and just gets the work done.
There's a lot of power in pushing lanes with the Renata pick, because if you end up having the ability to just one time get a nice handshake, you can push that so far forward. As Doran here, it looks like, okay, he might be able to get out of here. He's going to be able to flash over the wall. Ophelia's here, and he's got the follow-up fear. And when he ults in with the Shadow Surge, it looks like, okay, they did it. But no, Showmaker comes over here, and then as Ophelia flashes forward, he catches him with the charm. So well played. 2 well-deserved kills to the Ahri in the early game. That's a lot of money.
It is. Peanut is going to be able to start this Rift Herald, though. Looks like he will be able to collect that also. Does have control vision near where Canyon is. And so Peanut will be able to grab it. Just sort of stealing it out from under the noses of Damwon Kia. Didn't quite have control of their waves, I guess. As you can see, the bottom lane will rotating up from GenG. Damwon Kia left theirs on the bot side of the map, wanting to try and get themselves some plates of their own.
And this is pretty huge for GenG because they have a Drake advantage. It will have the extra plate gold that's going to come through with the Rift Herald, which will shore up some of the gold deficit they're living in right now. And it's tough to call where you want this to be, because I think ideally you'd like to accelerate one of your lethality champions so you can get them ahead to get their first lethality item online, the Eclipse here for both players, you have to imagine, so that they can then get value out of this before we get the late game, and Sion is just going to really shut them down, and the front to backing for Damwon Kia becomes really strong. I think you really just don't want it to be in the mid lane, even though that's where a lot of your prio is going to be. See where he ends up putting this, because the choice is important and it will affect this game quite a bit.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think the map control around mid is going to be really important as well. So if you're just thinking about the map state, then yeah, you kind of want to park it in the mid lane, but like you're talking about, getting money on the right members of GenG to maximize their value.
And both of them do have the leads, right?
Yeah.
100 gold, it's a very small lead here for Doran, but he's got one. And obviously with the advantages that Ruler has been given bottom side, he is pretty far ahead. Doran showing so much respect right here.
Yeah, he can't actually walk up. He's going to try and shock blast from range. Canyon going to deal with this Gromp first, and then think about a dive attempt. But no, just decides not to.
I think this means that, you know, we're going to see this Herald drop bottom side for the Xayah. Peanut waiting for an opportunity. If they walk up, he has a kill opportunity, but he's just going to wait for the wave, crash this one through, try to zone Doctom out.
Yeah, that is going to be a bit of a stun up there. The ulti comes through as well, and now Peanut is looking for the resets. The Renata is going to fall down as Doctom is gifted a kill, but the Feather Storm will help Peanut pick up the double.
I really just didn't think with the Nautilus there that they were going to commit that hard, but the ultimate there from Lehen's is massive. He trades his life, but you end up getting an extra kill onto the Xayah, who picks up more plate gold, and is now going to take out the enemy AD carry. 30 CS up. Is this lethality Xayah? Meanwhile, over here,
oh, the train misses the station there just a little bit as Doran's trying to turn this one around. He avoids the Q, and now underneath the turret, Doran is going to be able to pick up the 1-for-1, and he's real happy about that. He's not going to look towards the bottom lane, though, because that's where GenG are really starting to put the screws in. Managed to grab the entire outer turret down there and get some damage onto the inner as well.
So, at the end of the day, once again, this continues to be bottom side dominance here for GenG, but at the top side, things are changing rapidly. The dive could have been a little bit cleaner. If the charge hits there, then Birdall might walk away with his life. But he's a Scion who is going to become tanky later on in the game regardless. But at least it means that both lethality players now have their Eclipses online. Doran and Ruler hit the spike pretty early. The extra kill that gets traded back here to Doran is going to be very happy to have it. Now they both have Eclipses for this next Drake fight, which is where they're going to look to try to further their lead before Damo and Kia start to get crazy and become online. So like the position here for GenG quite a bit if they can win this fight, and they're already setting up for it. They're clearing vision, they're grouped up.
Yeah, looks like it is going to be that second Drake to come through. Let's have a look at this replay on the bottom side of the map.
So handshake hits first, and then the knockups come through from the Nautilus, which is why it's so hard to pull this one off, but the Berserk is great. Lehens tries to ult himself, or not ult himself, but bail himself out. And if the kill was a little bit faster there, if it was a little bit more well-timed, he actually doesn't die. Kind of a cool dive there.
Yeah, it's a cool idea, as Birdall kind of misses everything here, unfortunately, and that means that Doran's able to trade 1-for-1 while the rest of his team is doing amazing things bottom lane. Just a bit cataclysmic for Damwon Kia in that particular passage of play.
Yeah. Really nice play from Lehens on this champion, though. I want to see more of this. Just watching how these types of aggressive plays can be done against a Jinx. Really like how he's laning it. Yep, getting Ruler an early advantage. Look at the gold leads again, 1,300 for this Xayah, who has to continue to push the advantages forward.
Yeah, it is very, very important here as Canyon moves on over. And another Inferno.
Oh, it's crazy.
Triple fire. Yep, Canyon is always going to be able to steal that. He has the smite. And Ruler doesn't so much. So that is Canyon completing the steal. And will just move his way back.
No real fight around the Drake. Damwon Kia knowing that that's where they're going to put themselves at a really big opportunity for disadvantage if they give over more kills, and their comp isn't quite online yet. They want to avoid this really fed Xayah at the moment. Try to look for elsewhere some objectives. Getting a lot of vision around the top side of the map. You could see that's where they put their focus when they gave the Drake away. So they do have the advantage here for setting up for the second Rift Herald fight, if they would like to take it. And with the lack of vision here for GenG, it's going to be hard to use that Jace poke, and Shock Blast opportunities will be lessened.
Yep, you can see right now with the armor that's being built up by Birdall, he just doesn't really care what Doran is doing. The turret, as it ramps up in damage, is still frightening, that Birdall was reminded of a little bit prior, and doesn't quite manage to get the second plate there, as the plate's going to fall off in 5 seconds. So a little bit sad for the Scion. But Night Harvester comes in for Canyon. He's feeling pretty good as the Nidalee. And it's going to have to be, I think, the Canyon Showmaker show with Birdall just standing in the front line, and they need to create this space for Doctarm to get these team fights working. Because the bottom side, I mean, Ruler is just so powerful. If they can lock him down like this.
I mean, you get his ult, that's super valuable.
Oh dear. Okay, that's a nice little stun. Flash has to be used. A lot of respect given over to Canyon. It's like, yes, you get the handshake, get the stun. Looks really cool there from Lehens.
But he has to ult, he has to walk away. You push out the Renata. Now you have full prio with the vision you had earlier on this Rift Herald, which is going to be potentially some big map control.
Oh, okay. Showmaker kind of caught in the jungle here. Does land the charm as Kellen comes on over. Super Mega Death Rocket comes through, and Peanut is just going to get taken down. Showmaker goes golden. Ruler looks for his opportunity as the train is going to connect onto Doran this time. Great zap to land as well. Okay, yeah, we're going to have some Berserk players flying through here, but it doesn't last too long.
And there's the Rift Herald dropping. This play attempt from Peanut was heroic, but it was not the right call with no vision. Really easy rotation over, and now it's a free mid-turret here that comes with the death of the jungler. Damwon Kia starting to pull ahead in gold, but also objectives on the map. Do see now the Chem Tank is online for Birdall. The Night Harvester is up for Canyon. He did go for that Dark Seal like I was talking about too, so he's going to become scarier and scarier as time goes on. Showmaker
possibly in potential danger, but not going to overstep or anything like that into the darkness. And in fact, there was a lot of darkness as well around this map. Ophelia, he's going to go back.
The 2 Drake lead into the third Drake going over to the other side, and it's being Infernal every time. It's just so insane to me how this narrative of the story has continued. As Kellen just comes over and he's like, yep, you used everything for this. Even a flash is actually used for Peanut. And if Ari is watching or being a little bit more, aware of where you are, like, she wins that even harder 1v1. They also had to use the Renata Glask ultimate here to try to escape. And they are successful in that regard, but GenG, the sun is setting on this composition very quickly. This is the next fight that they're looking for, is on the Soul Point, and they need it so desperately. They need to push this advantage so hard. And if they lose this fight to Damwon Kia in a straight-up 5v5, not only is it going to give a ton of gold over to Damwon Kia and deny their Soul Point, but it also will showcase that Damwon Kia's comp is starting to come online and will be able to start looking for those front-to-back 5v5s that they avoided until this point. And now they're pushing out Vision here 35 seconds before this Drake. GenG, kind of, the clock is ticking here, and this is a desperation, not that they're in a desperate situation, but if they lose this, they'll be in a desperate situation. This is the most important fight for them until this point. Yeah,
definitely a big one. Ophelia here towards the top side, going to get a bit of money, as Doran needs to land a Shock Blast, does start to do so. He's also throwing feathers around, Spears going slightly wide, but 9 seconds.
Teleports up for Ophelia.
The Infernal Soul, exactly right. He's going to teleport to the bottom outer turret, get himself in here. As Ruler, he's standing pretty far forward, and Kellen's going to flash on in. Tries to lock down Peanut. Super Mega Death Rocket comes in, and it's actually Showmaker that finishes it off in the end. The hostile takeover fell through, but you can see Damwon still able to grab that kill onto Lehens. Not enough that he can do to stop that.
I mean, it's so easy to just charm and then go for the spear, and then go for the zap and the rocket, and somebody dies every single time. Peanut and Lehens both finding themselves victim to what is an insane combo that Damwon Kia's comp has put together. They execute it well, and this will be the first Drake going over to Damwon Kia. We might see another 4 back-to-back Infernals if this continues here. And, for GenG, they teleported in. They look to try to scuffle around the bottom part of this fight. Their only real entry point to the Drake pit, because they didn't have Cryo. And they have a lot of tools, but when Damwon Kia strike first with this insane combo, it almost feels hopeless. Like, what are you supposed to do here? And Ruler has his ultimate so he can get away, but in the longer fight, you also lose. It's really rough. But if Jinx gets the initial pick, just a takedown at all, that's the whole point of the comp.
They get excited, and then being able to run around the giant front line that is Bertle is really rough. It was just a really nice engage from Kellen.
And then it's like Charm, and then it just continues. This Canyon does tons of damage in this team fight. That's all it takes.
Yeah, the hostile takeover looked cool, as Bertle is pretty far forward here. He's going to flash away. He's going to use the train in order to find himself some safety, and does so effectively. Shock Blast not really finding the mark here, as GenG are going to be able to steal away a red buff. Super Mega Death Rocket was trying to answer that, but Dr. not going to be so lucky. Spears avoided. GenG, there's still some fight left in him. Shock Blast's going to go wide, though, and Doran needs to start hitting a few more of these, as he's going to have to flash to get out of the way of Showmaker, starting to bully the rest of GenG right now, as Foxfire comes through, and Ruler is now in a lot of trouble. He does have Featherstorm, does have Flash and Heal, but not a lot of health bar, which
and there's
is partially the problem.
There's no Death Rocket here for Duckdom anymore. I used it just a second ago, so won't be able to try to pick him off, but still, trades like these, opportunities like these that the Ahri gives you is why Ahri is so strong right now in this meta. But when you pair her with Jinx, when you pair her with an Italy, it's like, wait a minute, why haven't we seen this yet? Like, Damwon Kia had to wait until this series to pull it out, but the more you watch this combo work out with Bertle Scion, you're like, oh, it's all coming together. Like, this comp is pretty insane. You turn every pick into like a wombo combo of CC, as Bertle is going to just be extremely tanky. Like, you could see that, yes, he is overextended here, and he's out in the middle of nowhere, but it's so hard to make picks happen onto a Scion with these lethality champions when he's starting to get tanky himself. Even without big items. Like, he only has his Chem Tank and a Bramble Vest, but, like, his Scion's base stats and base armor alone really stopped this lethality from working out very well.
Yep, certainly is paying off here. And Bertle is able to overextend slightly as well, and be A-okay which is definitely good news for him, because coming into that that play from a replay, I was like, well, Birdle's dead. But he was not. He is a very tanky boy and had the rest of his team coming up to back him up. But still, it was GenG being able to wrestle away some control of that red side jungle. And things like this, defensive vision now put down for Damwon Kia.
The Hex Drinker here for Peanut, I think, just like really tells the story of how these fights can be so desperate and just one error, one mistake, and you lose anybody. Like I said, if the VA goes super ahead, like maybe he lives, but pretty much everybody else who gets charmed just instantly dies. And he's building a Hex Drinker for that reason. He's like, well, I hope I don't instantly die. Maybe the rest of the team will do the damage while I'm charmed, and then I can Heartbreaker in and get some resets and win the subsequent fights. It's a good itemization from him, but you really just feel the tone of this game as GenG still have opportunities if they can find a pick, if they could subvert this sign, if they can get behind him, if they can turn on him if he engages too early alone. Like, he's not immortal, but ease of execution definitely favoring Damwon here.
Certainly is, as this game goes on. Ruler as well, possibly in trouble. That is going to be the Featherstorm used. Does actually avoid basically everything. I mean, I think if Ruler had used that in almost any other time, he would have suffered a lot more. So
keeps his flash and also gets Ari's ultimate out, so yeah. It's a pretty nice trade, because now you've lost one of your long-range pick opportunities as Damwon Kia. I think as GenG, you feel pretty happy about that.
Yeah, GenG now sitting in Fog of War is now Canyon looking for a spear opportunity. Doesn't find it there onto Ruler, as there's the depth charge that is going to come through. They know exactly what target they're looking for, but they haven't found him just yet. Hostile Takeover is going to deny Damwon Kia their entry, but Birdle still has his ultimate up, and Damwon Kia, they can go for this one more time.
Yeah, and Peanut lost his Heartbreaker to get out, still has Flash, but it's going to be so difficult for him to get that execution on a single target with these lethality champions, bringing them low. Canyon has his Zhonya's finished now, 6 stacks on that Dark Seal. Every spear that hits counts, man. It's so important. He's a little bit low on mana.
Yeah, you can see Peanut looking for an angle. Spear once again, narrowly going to be avoided by GenG. Birdle finding some Roars of Slayers and things like this to get himself what he's looking for. Control wards everywhere, spotting Peanut out.
Ophelia with a nice angle here. They do not know where he is standing, so if he could find that follow-up damage on his Shock Blast, there's a
really
chance.
Cool Shadow Surge angle as Showmaker moves into vision. Starts to clear things out.
They just kill Showmaker. This would be massive.
It would.
He has his ultimate available, does have Flash.
This is so rough. Okay,
he's
going to get feared. So Showmaker has to go golden immediately. Canyon dives on top of Peanut, who's going to flash to get himself out of the way. Does have his ultimate pretty soon as Featherstorm was back up again. That's going to be used to avoid Birdle's onslaught. And the Shadow Surge goes wide, but the Drake is now just going to get completely forgotten, and instead it's Lahens that has to try and save himself. A lot of low health bars, but they still manage to get the pick. GenG trying to burst down this dragon as Ophelia takes a spear to the face.
That's so massive. If he's full health, he feels a lot safer here. Now he has to kind of scuttle around the edge of this pit. Damwon Kia has full control right now on what will be the second Infernal Drake.
Birdle gets all of his health back, and he will be able to teleport into the pit and guarantee this dragon. So the second Infernal this time goes over to Damwon Kia.
And they played it, GenG played it so well. I mean, they had the flank angle set up. They were able to catch Showmaker, right? Showmaker's trying to trade against Ophelia to look for a pick. Then, bam, out pops Doran, Peanuts nearby, but Showmaker has his stopwatch, gets away with his ultimate, and then when the turn happens, yes, Ruler avoids Birdle. It's like, okay, did they actually overextend? Is this the miracle fight that GenG were looking for? Shadow Surge goes wide here, though, and then Lahens steps over. There's a disconnect between GenG's front line and their back line here. Are we killing the Drake, or are we chasing these low health bars? And with the split there, Lahens is picked, and from that moment on, it's just spear chucking for Canyon as he just wants to push them away, and GenG just do not have the health bars anymore. Yeah. They played the early part of this so well, but again, their comp does not have the same staying power that Damwon Kia does.
Well, Birdle might be... is he caught out of position? They are going to be able to stop his ultimate, but he doesn't take very much damage here. The rest of Damwon are going to move up, and they're like, are you okay? And Birdle's like, yeah, I'm fine. And he's just going to walk away. Showmaker here, splitting in the mid lane. We'll be able to shove this wave out.
A lot of now pressure on GenG to look for a Baron fight. There's Damwon Kia have Prio. They have the vision removed now. They're going to push in. I mean, not all of it. You can see there's a few wards here still around the perimeter.
Smattering, yes.
Yeah. But if GenG just let this one go through, then that's enough pushing power for Damwon-Kia to permanently gain prio around every other objective for the rest of the game as we hit the 25-minute mark. It feels like we're so much later in this game because we've seen so much action, we've seen so many picks, and the damage is really starting to come online. But we're still only 25 minutes in. Damwon-Kia playing it slow. They could have started the Rift Herald, but they don't feel like they have the damage just yet.
Yep, and by Rift Herald,
sorry, I meant Baron. Yes.
Yeah. We're at 26 minutes, so it's still dangerous. But it does feel like Damwon are probably happy to put Sion in there to tank up the Baron and then turn on whatever they would like. He now has his Thornmail completed, and with the fact that Ophelia is basically the only magic damage, theoretically the Hands is there as well, but it's not too much to worry about. He's probably going to go for Putrefier as his second item.
The
Sorelda's a little bit more tanky this time.
Sorelda's we don't see always with Xayah, but I think in this situation it absolutely calls for it, and he picks it. I mean, believe it or not, we have seen players pick the Collector in moments like this into a Sion.
Yes, it has been. Yes, mistakes have been made. They certainly have.
So I'm glad that Ruler didn't make that one this time.
Yeah, Doran's probably looking for one also. And so that will help as far as damage onto Bertel. I don't know whether it's necessarily going to be enough as the game goes on, especially with the fact that they'll have a lot more to worry about as well, with Doctarm and Showmaker being so scary. But Poke flying through and GenG actually finding it this time. We can kind of see the value.
Look at Ophelia.
Of this Jace is, Ophelia looking for those angles.
And if he hits Doctarm, I mean, there's a pick right there. Ruler's got ult.
Yeah.
Got to be so careful. They have no idea where he is.
Ruler baiting them as best he can as well. I really like it as Bertel trying to get into position. It's a great zap to come down as now Showmaker looking for his angle. Immediately, Ruler just executes Kellen. He's not doing anything. Finds the double kill now as they're turning it on to Damwon. And what happened to Showmaker? His health bar just disappeared.
He's not building armor really in this game, and the lethality items coming through here for Doran, for Ruler, really hitting him hard when he goes forward and overextends here without the peel. They didn't know where Ophelia was.
Well, Ophelia's going to catch that spear, catch that one as well.
He's got teleport, needs to get out of here.
Ooh, he could have walked back into that one also, but does decide not to. As Spear is, oh man, it's getting a bit frightening as the Baron is going down very, very low. The Spear will connect eventually. Ophelia grabs that one, and it's just a shooting range here for Canyon. Dives in a little bit late. He's not going to be able to steal the Baron, but he goes golden. Bertel trying to stay alive, but he's not going to be able to, and despite these snipes looking good, Damwon-Kia are going to lose the majority of their members in this fight. Canyon still trying to tidy this one up the best he can, but Doctarm, not a lot of mana, not a lot of cooldowns. Super Mega Death Rocket will be coming up right now, as that's a great knock-up, and the dive forward from Canyon, but he immediately falls down. Ruler grabs that kill as well, as Peanut's going to dive back up again. Featherstorm just thrown out there from Ruler. That was a weird situation, as now the teleport going to come forward.
There's the ult to try to peel for Doctarm here, and they should be able to get away.
Yeah, they're trying to get even more, and Doctarm just explodes. Goodbye.
Doran with a nice angle here, teleports back into this on the other side, backed after bailing out, then comes in and makes the big play. And with Baron buff here and all of these dead players on Damwon-Kia, GenG may very well have just done it, Atlas, with this insanely extended fight. Now, it's not over yet, but they have so much pushing power here. They've got Ophelia on the top side, the mid lane push, they take out that inner turret, so much gold going over to GenG.
This is so much money as Ophelia, I mean, he could be in trouble. He's going to flash to get out of the way of the decimating smash.
But he got the turret.
Wait, how come you still had flash? As the Drake is also going to be picked up. Man, this is such a huge turn. Look at that Baron power play. And the Baron's barely started.
And we're going to go all the way back to this moment here where it's a perfect Featherstorm. And look at the pullback onto Kellen. And that's a double, right? Showmaker's out of the way, and this is just so much damage for Ruler here. Perfect ultimate from him. Nice pullback on the feathers. You come over here, and with Showmaker being dead, GenG are like, okay, we win this. But then Canyon hits so many spears. There's a magnet on Ophelia. Like, watch this spear hit. It's just insane. Like, look at that happen and tell me, tell me that's not a magnet. Tell me that he just aimed that. And Ophelia, he could have backed and teleported back in, but the timing of taking this Baron is so thin that GenG decide to stay. And even though he dies, they get the Baron, they back away. Then you see the fight that happens down here where Canyon is still doing the majority of the damage. The bailout is so good here on the Doran. It allows him to survive. This is just such an insane game. He survives here with a bailout.
Are just so ridiculous as well.
Now he bails out, teleports back in, and kills Doctarm. It's just insane what GenG pulled off. Like, GenG are almost making a miracle happen, I want to say, in this game. With the comp they have, the situation they were in, winning these fights so handily. Now they have sole point.
Well, welcome back, Ruler. That's all I have to say. Looking absolutely fantastic in this game, making me a believer in this Xayah pick that I was a little bit worried about based on how the first game went, right?
Same.
Ruler's showing us exactly what there is to expect. Now has his Maw of Malmortius as item number 4.
6,000 gold, the Baron power play.
Yeah, Handshake is going to connect that onto Bertle, and now it's starting to look like he has absolutely no armor, even though he's spent all of his gold on armor. It just doesn't seem to matter. Double Serylda's done for both of these physical damage dealers.
Double Serylda's here, and no Void Staff even for Ophelia, because he doesn't need it.
No, it's not a lot of
armor.
resistance.
Yeah,
yes.
it's just pure armor. And it looks like he's going to go for the Shadow Flame next. That's going to give him so much power to actually help burst Bertle down.
Oh, that Shock Blast.
I mean, these are big. These are huge. You cannot be getting hit by these.
I mean, it's also all of GenG's siege, right? Because Xayah doesn't siege very well at all. And so therefore, Doran needs to be hitting these to try and deter them from standing underneath their turret to try and get them anywhere near there.
Doran is, I mean, he's hitting it big time. His Jace has been very up and down this season, especially with these emergency call-ups. He's been very, you know, I'd say momentum-based in his play. But even when against all odds this game, look at his gold. 3,800 here, the advantage over Bertle. He got an early lead, but he has really pushed it forward. His damage in this game has got to be the highest across the server as well. And I know Canyon is trying his best to be up there because he is really hitting some spears, but game's not over yet. We still have this next fight that will be potentially the Infernal Soul for GenG.
Yeah, they want to be able to secure that. That would really state their claim to this game. And Damwon, they still have some fights left in them, but it's going to take some tidier play than what we've seen thus far. They need to get these engages actually working out. GenG's fan out and the way that Doran's been able to hit his Shock Blasts when needed onto priority targets really does change how things go, because Damwon found a lot of fights in the early stages, and that was when some of these Shock Blasts were going wide and stuff like this, right? Ophelia getting caught out by a bunch of these spears and things like this. Lehen's overextending.
Yeah, Showmaker's got his death cap picked up here, was zoomed in on by the observers, made that choice here. He's going to have a ton of extra AP, can push inside lanes a lot better as a result, but I don't know if this game is really going to be decided about that. It's going to be decided with him getting a charm, him getting a pick here, or Duckdom getting excited, one way or the other.
Yeah. Ruler tagged by a spear. Canyon looking for the side, looking for some options.
Just trying to outpoke the Jace, and so far having a good opportunity.
Yeah, getting himself in here. Peanut just wanting to push Canyon out of the area as best he can. When the spears go wide, very important. These moments really big for GenG, keeping these health bars high. As it's a bit of a stalemate right now. 45 seconds on the Drake and 20 seconds on the Baron. GenG with control of both sides right now. Damwon with not a lot of
Doran,
but the flash has to be used there from Doran. Gets himself out of the way of Showmaker, whose Foxfire is now, his Spirit Rush is now on cooldown. And Peanut floating with death here towards the side as Bertle may have overextended. Ruler offering a lot of damage back. Man, the bailout giving him so much attack speed as well with this lethality build. As in goes Ophelia, finds the Shadow Surge, looks for Bertle, but Kellen, he's going to be the target that falls down first. There is so much damage on GenG.
Look at the
Spear
damage.
will connect, but it's a little too late.
4,500 damage on this lethality Xayah, and Bertle is eating the majority of it here. But the way that GenG are playing this slow, the way that they're trying to split Damwon Kia up and punish every single time Bertle walks forward, the amount of follow-up damage they have is eventually this Scion does get chipped down. Eventually he has to push away. And when Damwon Kia don't have Showmaker's ultimate available, they look so weak in these moments because they're so unable to actually get Duckdom excited unless they can get a pick or unless Cannon hits his spears. And Ruler's not afraid. When Ruler has these opportunities, he will just go in on Bertle. Like, watch this happen. Ruler is in no real danger here when Showmaker doesn't have it.
The movement speed from Lehen's that he's been able to give him in those moments, it's really, really important.
Look at the damage follow-up here from Ophelia as well. They get the pick onto Kellen. And GenG, man, they look really confident with this style of play. They have such a massive gold lead right now. The way they're playing this out is so near perfect. Infernal Soul on top of all of this is just such a disaster for Damwon Kia right now. So much extra damage.
Spear connects, but Ruler with his Maw of Malmortius is able to shrug off fair bit of that magic damage. Can't take too many more of these as Peanut wants to try and get that smite fight to work out. Canyon not often beaten when it comes to smites.
Canyon has 2 stasises available because he has a stopwatch and Zonia's.
Yep.
If he can get on top of Ruler and force out his Blade Surge, or his ultimate, what's the blind?
Featherstorm?
Featherstorm, thank
that
you.
one?
I don't
Yep.
know why I said Blade Surge there. I'm like, what? My blade's not working. If he can force out the Featherstorm.
I mean, he does have an ability called Blade Caller, as the handshake.
Yes.
Bertle is going to agree to whatever it was Lehens is talking about.
If you can force Ruler to use that early and then fight for the objective and then once again collapse on top of him, I think that's the name of the game here. You're going to have to dive deep. You're going to have to look for that kill. And a double stasis for Cannon here is going to be really helpful at allowing him to close that gap and look for that execution. Collector's online now and you just don't hate it anymore. Like now you're like, no, this is actually like really strong in this moment.
6th item Collector going to get all of that money, right? As now Ophelia is going to flash out of the way of Showmaker. This time the ulti is going to be valuable, but they do manage to just get a flash for it. And now for the next little while, Showmaker is going to be waiting. But now level 16, right? He's going to have that all back up pretty damn soon. So we need Death Rocket to do a bit more damage towards Ophelia, who's getting bullied right now.
Not any effective damage.
Oh,
this is the
Canyon.
effective damage right here.
Yeah, his name's Ruler. And
it's
Dora.
massive. I mean, GenG really outdoing what this comp was supposed to, like, with the end of this comp should have been earlier, but with how well they fought, those mid to late game team fights here, I mean, now we're starting to go towards Supreme late game. They got such a lead.
And with how strong Ruler is, Bertle can't just press the train button, because Ruler then presses Featherstorm, and Bertle is by himself, right?
He's basically dead, all on his own.
So their ability to force has really been hindered by just how many of these kills Ruler has got. Yeah, the Shock Blast also really, really hurt.
30,000 nearly on the board as Damo and Kia are just zoned away by what is such an interesting composition. It has poke, but it's also very low range. They're respecting Ruler so much. And where's the angle for Showmaker here? He needs to find a flank. He needs to get on top of the backline, but GenG have been such a phalanx around the map.
Yeah, Doc Dump having to run away from Peanut. That does mean that they have inside track. They can conga line this minion wave towards this inhibitor turret. They should be able to take it as Damon Kia. Let's see whether they can get the collapse. Good spear is going to connect onto Ophelia as Showmaker dashes forward. That spear is going to be avoided. Shadow Surge going to be used, but Ophelia not going to follow up. GenG trying to keep themselves together and not get hit by all of these spears. It's now Damwon. They're the ones with control of the mid lane. They are going to be able to get that one shoved up. The Baron is alive.
And Damwon Kia, they've got enough time to do this. Elder's not up. They have the vision removed now. And now, how do you walk into Damwon Kia's comp? It's going to be very complicated, right? You're going to need a really nice angle, I think, for Ophelia, who's flashless and ultless in this moment.
Such a weird position game as over the wall. Peanut has to flash to get himself out of the way. It's not the Heartbreaker. He doesn't have that one available just yet. As Damwon, they keep getting these cooldowns. Ophelia's not back up again, and Peanut, he's so valuable, right?
I think if they just clear this wave and rush over the Baron, they're in such a good spot, Damwon Kia are to start it up and look for a turn.
Decimating smash from over the wall, but Bertle's not going to be able to find it.
Canyon's just not connecting with these spears right now. Ophelia's going to have the shield.
Yeah, loyalty program, not finding too much, but is going to be able to give some shields here.
Damwon Kia, if they can get this choke point, they could look to commit, but they don't have Birdall here just yet. He has teleport. Damwon playing so timid. Like, they're so scared of losing this game and losing control over a Baron fight, but I think with GenG pushed away in the vision control you had, you probably could have played around this a little bit more aggressively, but they just simply did not.
Well, I think getting some vision, then getting back, getting your reset where you need to, I kind of like it. They've got the Jinx. They want to use like the slow and steady wins the race mantra.
But now while they reset and come back, like, we're no longer the timing where Damwon Kia could try to push this one down before Elder, because Elder's up. And that's going to be the more valuable objective, especially with the composition for GenG. That is definitely what they're going to be putting their eyes towards. They already have a lot of structural damage. They don't need the Baron buff. If they get that Drake to execute these already low health members every time they're setting it up for it.
And Showmaker has actually sold his Magi Soul Stealer. He's now building towards his Void stuff.
I love it.
Number 4, but it just shows the state of this game, right? Yeah. He has been caught out a couple of times, and therefore all of those stacks sort of got wiped out.
And Damwon Kia fast track now on this Elder Drake. They were able to push this wave through. Somewhat lackluster outside of the Jace here. Wave clear for GenG.
High value Scry's Bloom. Showmaker.
Can he hit a big charm is the real question. Like, that's the whole point of this, is remove the vision.
Visible decimating smash from over the wall. Kind of like it, is now Bertle looking for an opportunity.
Showmaker
doesn't land. That's going to be a pick onto the Renata. She immediately goes down. Ruler was their target of choice, but they'll take it as Lehens is so incredibly squishy. It may not be enough to guarantee this, especially with the advantage that GenG have. But still, it's great news.
Just in the front line here, trying to get Ruler closer and closer to this Elder Drake, because as you said, even with a dead support, it's not enough. Look at the Shock Blast damage.
Yeah, that's going to be actually a turret falling down elsewhere as well, as Showmaker is on the flank. Canyon takes a lot of damage. Peanut is looking for him. The charm comes through as Peanut sidesteps to get out of the way of the Orb of Deception. This, man, Dalmonkia not wanting to keep holding on to that Drake. As you can see, Bertle down below half health. And it's just navigation of poke, backwards and forwards, trying to work out who has the advantage. Doran slowed down by the zap. And Ruler is their target, right? Dalmonkia, all they want is to be able to kill this Xayah.
He's got his ult still.
Yeah, Shock Blast connects onto Showmaker as well, as now the Elder Drake down to 3,000 health. Peanut goes golden. Ruler's going to be able to take him down. Ophelia finds the backline. Top, tries to get out. The Elder Drake is still alive, but pardon me, Showmaker is not. It's a double kill for Ruler, and the Elder is taken by GenG. They were so patient.
They were
and in the end,
patient.
they managed to make it work.
They play it so slow. They wait for Lehens to come in, and it's the perfect time for Ophelia to hit a big game-winning ultimate. Duck Dom pushed out of the fight on the wrong side of things. That's the wipe, and GenG will pull this comp off. 6-0-6 on this Xayah. Compositions look tough for them to win the late game. Look tough for them past the mid game, but they got Sorelda's grudge early, and they pulled through. Patience perseveres.
What is it with Lehens dying in like the last team fight and then them still winning? Oh, just beautiful.